So good evening. Are we having fun? Clap if you're having fun. That's enough fun. So first, I just wanted to remind you that we're live streaming all of our plenaries, and so I want to say welcome to those who are viewing us in that way. I also want to say if you want to follow us on Twitter, the way you do it is GPF.org, and if you want to tweet, better yet, use the hashtag GPF2010. There's also regular blogs going, so do catch them. Before I welcome our partners at the Vodafone Foundation, I just wanted to say a word about the gifts that are at your seats. First, you're receiving the transcripts of last year's conference, and if you forget any aspect of this year's conference, next year you'll receive that one. Second, you've already received a beautiful coffee table book, Howard Buffett's book, Fragile, the Human Condition, which the friends at the Howard G. Buffett Foundation provided very, very kindly. Third, I want to take a moment to thank Noreen MacDonald of the Network of European Foundations, Mercator Fund, for the donation of her book entitled Global Philanthropy, of all things. Noreen, why don't you stand up so people can thank you? Right title, right topic. And then I also wanted to bring your attention to the CD that's at your seat. Listen to the band. That's B-A-N-N-E-D. It's an extraordinary collection of contemporary songs by artists who've been censored, who've been persecuted, who've been jailed, who've been taken to court, even tortured for their music. That album has been provided by Freemuse and by the artist Dia, and Dia, please stand. Dia's in the back. Dia has a really beautiful voice, so do listen to her online. I wish I were saying that she was going to sing for us tonight, but do listen to her online. It's an extraordinary voice and beautiful music. Tomorrow you're going to be receiving yet another book. And that is Solutions for Impact Investors, and that's by Charlie and Lisa Kleisner. So if Charlie and Lisa are here, are they here? Oh, I can see you. So we look forward to that. We're holding that till tomorrow, and the reason is that that's going to prepare you for Wednesday, when we're going to have 2 sessions on social investing. And Charlie, is your session tomorrow? So it's all on Wednesday. So we're preparing you for that. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce the next speaker. I just want to say that there was music to Terry Kramer's ears today when Megan Smith opened her talk with, "Dad, where's your cell phone?" I looked up to Terry because Terry's got 2 kids who don't need to ask that question. And then later, Neil Kenny Geyer of Mercy Corps said that this is the coming of age of cell phones in providing access to finance, to markets, to credit, to reducing all those barriers. Again, I could see Terry looking like a happy man. As you know, GPF has partnered with the Vodafone Foundation to help present their Vodafone Wireless Innovation Project winners. These are organizations, there are 3 organizations that have found inventive ways to use wireless technology to help meet the challenges that we've been talking about the last couple of days. So to open this segment this evening, it's my pleasure to introduce Terry Kramer. Terry is the regional president of Vodafone Americas and chairman of Vodafone Ventures. So Terry, please join us.
I told Jane I could not thank her for a better introduction, both for our industry and our company and as an individual. First of all, let me just say again, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here representing Vodafone, both in our foundation and also in our Americas organization. It's hard to believe, but it was a year ago in Washington, D.C. that we announced our first ever winners for our wireless innovation project. And the time obviously has gone by very, very quickly. And what I'd like to do is just briefly tell you a little bit about our wireless innovation project, but just start with what's happened in our industry and with our company and why wireless innovation is so critical in solving societal issues. So first of all, just to start out as a company, we've had the good fortune of growing over the past few years now as a company, where we have a significant presence in Europe, in the Middle East, in Africa, and here in the U.S. With our 45% interest in Verizon Wireless. Now, we now have a presence in over 5 continents. We have 79,000 employees globally. And it's this global presence of the company that's developed over the past few years. It's given us a chance to think about what purpose mobile can serve, not only on a commercial basis, but also what can it do in society in terms of corporate responsibility. Now, a little bit about the industry itself, and every time we put up this slide, people are surprised with how big the industry has gotten. 4.6 billion mobile phone users today. 2/3 of those users are in emerging markets. So the early view that mobile was for just a select few of people in the developed markets is a very, very old thought, and very much today it's an emerging market development. The other thing to share is the wireless market networks are pervasive. Where a few years ago wireless was just offered in urban areas, now more and more it's in more and more remote areas. And the final thing I'll just say is wireless networks today offer the ability to offer data communications, not just voice, but data. And that data you're going to hear is a common theme with our winners today in terms of serving, again, societal needs. Now, if I were to say there were 2 things that are critical to success of our business, of our foundation, of our award winners, those 2 things would be innovation and partnerships. A few years ago, we as a company could do things pretty much ourselves, and that day has passed again. Now more and more we have to partner, whether we partner with internet companies, whether we're partnering with government agencies, whether we're partnering with a variety of NGOs, we have to partner for success in our business. And so that's a big element of what we're trying to do. Now, if you look at some of the things that we've announced over the past year or so, we have a partnership with the United Nations Foundation that's focused on technology solutions. For those of you that have heard of Telecom Sans Frontières, which provides emergency relief services, that's one of the key efforts of our partnership. About a year ago, we announced in Barcelona at the Mobile World Congress a partnership with other foundations focused on the Mobile Health Alliance, which is using mobile technology for health solutions. So a variety of things that have happened over the past year or so, again, to advance our partnership and innovation. Now, let me tell you a little bit about our foundation itself and our group foundation. So the first thing I just would want to mention is, in addition to a group foundation, we've got country operations that each have their own foundations. So taken in aggregate, there's over 27 Vodafone foundations globally, and those foundations together have contributed over £48 million to a variety of causes worldwide. The other thing that we've done is we've launched a program called World of Difference. And this World of Difference program allows us to recognize employees and other members of the community that want to take a year off and serve a charity of their choice. We pay their expenses for that 1 year and allow them to go out and serve the community. And in the case where they're employees, they come back to our organization better. They come back more well-rounded, more aware of issues around them. The other thing I'll mention is, in more emergency situations, we've had a variety of activities. With the Haiti earthquake that occurred, we set up a texting campaign, both for our customers and our employees, that allowed us to contribute about £5 million globally. And we saw that as we got that program moving along, we want to make it more and more innovative and easy to use for customers. So now we have a widget or a little application that people put on their mobile phones called Red Alert, and whenever there is a disaster, they can immediately text contributions in a seamless way. Final thing I just want to mention is the Vodafone Americas Foundation, which is our foundation here in the U.S. Now, for the past 10 years, it's been focused on wireless education, contributing about $18 million to a variety of academic institutions that advance wireless education. And that brings me up to the last year or so. And in the spirit of innovation, we wanted to continue innovating with our Vodafone Americas Foundation, and we formed the Wireless Innovation Project. And the design of this is to recognize innovators, whether they be academic institutions, NGOs, et cetera, that can deliver mobile technology to solve social problems, because we believe that's a way to advance solutions globally. Now, this competition is open for all designated universities and nonprofit organizations that have a 501c3 status. And the criteria that we use for this wireless innovation project includes several things. One is, how significant is the innovation? What type of societal impact does that innovation represent? Is it interdisciplinary in nature, where we're finding more and more solutions need to be interdisciplinary? And also, what type of market knowledge and project plan exists so that we know that these award winners can deliver something that happened? So we basically have set that program up. There are 3 award winners, and one of the things we're looking for with the award winners is for them to advance their ideas. In some cases, that means moving into a prototyping stage. In some cases, it means going into full trials, but to bring their ideas to customers, to employees, to a population that needs the service most. And again, as I mentioned, we formed a partnership with the Mobile Health Alliance to really focus on specific applications where health issues can be addressed. Now, just a brief look back at last year, because one of the things we always do as a company is we say, what happened last year when we announced our first award winners? Did they do something that was meaningful? And I can say that we've been pleased with the progress that our 3 award winners have made from last year. So our first place award winner from last year was Columbia University, and they had a program called Enhance, which is Energy Harvesting Active Network Tags. And this is an effort that basically utilizes small chips that can be embedded in tags activated to locate and track survivors in disaster situations. Now, what's happened with this project winner? They've recently raised over $1 million from the National Science Foundation and the Department of Energy to advance their work. The second prize winner was Cellophone, that was from UCLA, and their focus was on a lensless mobile microscope project that helps in the diagnosis of HIV/AIDS. And this is an effort that really has used computational power, 40-time improvement from what exists today, that allows a single computer to serve hundreds of these cellophone units. And then tied for second place was CellScope from the University of California at Berkeley, which is a mobile microscope project which is initially looking at the diagnosis of tuberculosis and malaria. And what their unique advance has been is to form partnerships. They formed partnerships during the past year with the San Francisco Department of Public Health, with UCSF, and with Makerere University in Uganda. So in all of these cases, we've seen some very good success over the past year, and that brings us to today, which is the 2010 award winners. So let me now show you a video that tells you about the program, and importantly, you will see a description of our 3 award winners. Take a look.
To be able to connect the corporate know-how together with the social impact side is what this project is all about.
What we want to do out of this whole program is to stimulate innovation. We want people thinking about how do you solve the world's problems with mobile technology.
Wireless is the real answer to reaching people in the developing world. A very high percentage of people in the poorest parts of the world now have wireless phones, so reaching them for medical, business, agricultural, other kinds of reasons, education is now possible with wireless devices.
About half the households in the world cook with simple biomass fuels that, when you burn them in normal stoves, simple stoves, produce a lot of air pollution. But there are now technologies that make it possible to reduce these emissions substantially. But these are complex devices. We're just learning how to use them, and one of the things we need to be able to do is to follow to see how they actually operate in the field. And it's one thing to go out and then inspect, a couple of hundred stoves. You can send people around to look. But if you're talking about introducing, in the case of India, we're hoping to introduce 160 million improved stoves. How do you do that?
So that's where the wireless component comes into play. This enables completely not only the amount of data that you can have, but also the resources that you need to retrieve this data is much lower, and you can scale it. So then you can think of monitoring a national stove program.
Today, even for all of the positive news microfinance gets, well under 5% of global demand is met. And the main reason for that is a geographic barrier to access. So if you can distribute a loan and repay that loan via SMS, via text message, you completely eliminate these geographic barriers, and it then becomes just as cost effective for me to send a loan 5 kilometers as it does 100 kilometers. So it's really about bringing in those who've been excluded.
And in order for any poverty to end for anyone anywhere, you have to give them a means to earn money and save money. The cost savings from this middleware solution will reduce interest rates and pass on those savings to the end users.
Ultimately, it means more money in the pockets of people who need it most.
The most exciting thing about the project is we have a vision of improving healthcare delivery in the most resource-poor settings through the use of innovative mobile technology. Firstly, we're offering quite a broad solution, but one specific instance is that if you have a less trained health worker in a remote setting who doesn't have access to the kind of expertise to make complicated decisions, what it can do is you can encode an assessment of a patient onto the mobile phone, and that assessment can then be transferred via the mobile phone to a specialist who may be in the capital or a more centralised setting, who can then make a judgment not only on the information that's been entered on the phone, but a picture or some diagnostic information that's been captured with the phone, and therefore relay that back to the more remote health worker who's less trained, who can make a decision that they could not have made before.
What we're offering essentially is a platform to improve efficiency within the healthcare system in developing countries. Basically, it extends the reach of trained medical professionals, really. For one, it's a very multidisciplinary team. We're all volunteers, and we all have the same vision, and that is to improve healthcare delivery in the developing world.
I think it's recognizing that mobile technology is changing and transforming the world, and giving it that much more of a boost to do it in a more strategic and potentially scalable and sustainable way.
We have these huge deployments, we have all these capabilities, and we still see there are so many needs out there which we could easily accommodate with wireless technologies. Also being able to use the technology which exists today and make it very practical for solving today's problems for, in particular, people in emerging and developing economies which don't have all the capabilities as we have them in the mature markets. This is for me really an honor, and that's why I'm very excited to be part of this.
I think 5 years from now, we'll look back on this work and realize that it has been foundational in terms of beginning to catalyze innovation across multiple sectors, because the technologies we're talking about are right at the frontier of breakthroughs that are going to touch almost every aspect of life.
So it's now my pleasure to have join me on the stage our 2010 award winners. Please join me on stage here. So let me first say that in addition to the grant funds that we're providing, we're giving each of the winners these baskets, and these are made out of telephone wire. And the significance of this is the industry in the world is going much more mobile. But this is made out of traditional telephone wire by men and women in South Africa that are involved in sustainable businesses. And just as a reminder of where the industry is going to, we're going to be presenting this to each of the winners. So a little bit of explanation there. So let me first introduce our third place winner, and they're recipients of $100,000 and also winner of the mHealth Alliance Award, and that's Jeff Graham and Trishan Panch from Sana and MIT. Congratulations. Okay, and our second prize grant is $200,000, and that's going to Benjamin Lyon and Reina Kumra of Frontline SMS Credit. Okay, and finally, our first prize winner is a recipient of $300,000 grant, and that's going for their 100 million stove project, and this goes to Dr. Kirk Smith, Ilse Ruiz Mercado, and Dr. Kalpana Balakrishna from the University of California, Berkeley. So now, as I mentioned, we have a special award on the mHealth side for mobile health. And to make that award, I'd like to have join me here David Aylward, who's the Executive Director of the Mobile Health Alliance.
Thank you, Terry, and thank you, folks. We're most grateful to this organization and to Vodafone for being a great partner in our new enterprise. I think you've heard enough about mHealth tonight. I won't deliver my hour-long speech, but just want to say that we're really at an inflection point where this wonderful extension of technology and information flow across the world provides the opportunity to break into some problems that have been around for decades we haven't been able to solve. The fact that 4 million kids still die before they're 30 days old, and several 100,000 women die each year in childbirth, all in the developing world, for things that we could solve with things like you just heard about, with simple checklists, has caused us to come together with a number of you in the room and elsewhere to try to bring this new technology to bear on these problems. And we're delighted that some people in Cambridge from the Harvard School of Public Health, doctors from Sri Lanka, engineers from MIT, students, professors came together in an interdisciplinary way and came up with some really neat technology on the one hand, but much more importantly, which addresses and solves a set of very specific problems, which we intend to put in the field in the next year. So congratulations. We're delighted to give our first mHealth Alliance Award to the Sana Group.
So let me just say in closing, as I mentioned at the beginning, if there were two key success factors in our business, it's innovation and it's partnership. Let me first start by thanking our award winners who have demonstrated innovation and partnership, and they are the future of our industry. Congratulations to all of you. And then also, I just want to take a brief mention and just thank Jane Wales and her team, because this venue to talk about the issues, both as an organization for us to understand where are the pressing needs and to have a way to channel our activity, has been invaluable for the business. So Jane, thank you to you and your team. And now we're going to transition to the next part of the program, and as all of you know, that's on leadership and social change. And I'd like to welcome, please, Dave Keller to the stage. Thank you all very much.